China is struggling with a severe shortage of electricity, which has left millions of homes and businesses in the dark. Blackouts are not that rare in the country, but this year, several factors have contributed to a perfect storm for electricity suppliers. The problem is particularly serious in China's northeastern industrial hubs as winter approaches, and is something that could have indications for the rest of the world. Hello everyone, welcome to World of China. In today's video, we are looking into an interesting question. Why is China facing an electricity shortage? Stay tuned and hit the subscribe button. China is struggling with extensive power shortfalls, dealing with a blow to the recovery of the second largest economy, and risking disturbance to global supply chains and emphasized inflationary pressure around the world. The power crunch, on a scale unseen in more than a decade, highlights how some of Beijing's changing policy priorities, including its effort to limit carbon emissions, can break through a global economy that has been reshaped by the pandemic. The country has in the past struggled to balance electricity supplies with demand, which has often left many of China's provinces at risk of power outages. During times of peak power consumption in the summer and winter, the problem becomes particularly acute. But this year, several factors have come together to make the issue particularly serious. Guangdong Province, a manufacturing center responsible for $1.7 trillion, or more than 10% of China's annual economic output, and a bigger share of its foreign trade, has been rationing power for over a month. The limitations have forced companies across the province to shut down for a few days per week. Some local authorities are warning that power rationing could last through the end of the year. It's not just Guangdong. At least 9 provinces have said they're dealing with similar issues, including Yunnan, Guangxi, and the manufacturing hub of Zhejiang, forcing regional authorities to announce power curbs across an area of China the size of the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Japan combined. As the world starts to resume after the pandemic, demand for Chinese goods is surging, and the factories making them need a lot more power. Rules imposed by Beijing as it attempts to make the country carbon neutral by 2060 have seen coal production slow, even as the country still relies on coal for more than half of its power. And as electricity demand has risen, the price of coal has been pushed up. But with the government strictly controlling electricity prices, coal-fired power plants are unwilling to operate at a loss, with many drastically reducing their output instead. Homes and businesses have been affected by power cuts as electricity has been rationed in several provinces and regions. The state-run Global Times newspaper said there had been outages in 4 provinces: Guangdong in the south, and Heilongjiang, Jilin, and Liaoning in the northeast. There are also reports of power cuts in other parts of the country. Companies in major manufacturing areas have been called on to reduce energy usage during periods of peak demand or limit the number of days they can operate. Energy-intensive industries such as steel making, aluminum smelting, cement manufacturing, and fertilizer production are among the businesses hardest hit by the blackouts. It's the worst energy shortage in China since 2011, when droughts or surging coal prices pushed 17 provinces or regions to curb electricity use. Power plants are unwilling to produce a lot of electricity when the coal they burn is expensive. Beijing controls the cost of power, so producers can't simply raise their prices. Official figures have shown that in September 2021, Chinese factory activity shrunk to the lowest it had been since February 2020, when coronavirus lockdowns paralyzed the economy. Concerns over the power cuts have contributed to global investment banks cutting their forecasts for the country's economic growth. Goldman Sachs has estimated that as much as 44% of the country's industrial activity has been affected by power shortages. It now expects the world's second largest economy to expand by 7.8% this year, down from its previous prediction of 8.2%. Globally, the outages could affect supply chains, especially towards the end of the year shopping season. Since economies have resumed, Retailers around the world have already been facing widespread disruption amid a surge in demand for imports. China's economic planner, the National Development and Reform Commission, or NDRC, has outlined several measures to resolve the problem, with energy supplies in the northeast of the country as its main priority this winter. The measures include working jointly with generating firms to increase output, ensuring full supplies of coal, and promoting the rationing of electricity. The China Electricity Council, which represents generating firms, has also said that coal-fired power companies were now expanding their procurement channels at any cost to guarantee winter heat and electricity supplies. However, finding new sources of coal imports may not be straightforward. Russia is already focused on its customers in Europe. Indonesian output has been hit by heavy rains, and nearby Magnolia is facing a shortage of road haulage capacity. Power cuts in China, UK petrol stations running out of fuel, energy bills jumping in Europe, and soaring crude oil, natural gas, and coal prices on wholesale markets, it would be tempting to assume the world is suddenly in the grip of a global energy drought. However, it's not quite as simple as that. There's some distinctly different issues around the world. For example, in the UK, petrol stations have run dry as motorists rush to fill up their vehicles over concerns that a shortage of tanker drivers would mean fuel would soon become scarce. Meanwhile, mainland Europe's rising energy bills are due to several local factors, including low stockpiles of natural gas, weak output from the region's windmills and solar farms, and maintenance work that has put generating operations out of action. There are two different reasons for the power crunch, one for the north and another for the south. In the north, it's due to soaring coal prices. In the south, it's due to lower hydropower production. Many industrial units are facing an electricity supply crunch, affecting production. China's most industrialized provinces, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Guangdong, are the worst hit by the situation. The Chinese power situation has resulted in many financial and rating agencies lowering their growth estimated for the country's GDP to below 8%. The unfolding scenario, which is feared to get worse as winter nears, has many wondering what has gone wrong with the communist nation. Provincial governments and power generations in northern provinces and on the east coast are also trying to buy additional supplies from Mongolia, Russia, and Indonesia, which is pushing up the international prices. The major reason for China's power crunch is short supplies of coal. China is the major consumer of coal in the world, and the materials make up at least 60% of the total energy consumption. A diplomatic dispute with Australia has led to a shortage in coal supplies. Because of the controversy, which started over a doctored image posted by the Chinese Foreign Ministry on Twitter, Beijing banned the import of Australian coal. This in particular has affected its Chinese provinces. China produces 90% of its coal requirement locally, but the producers are unable to ramp out output at a short notice. Beijing is now having to depend on other suppliers such as Indonesia, Russia, and South Africa. As the crisis has intensified, China's state grid, responsible for transmission across most of the country, except for the far south, has promised to maintain electricity supplies to residential customers in an all-out fight to meet basic power needs this winter. But the fact that so many organizations and senior officials have felt the need to emphasize their determination and plans for ensuring winter fuel supplies is an indication of how serious the coal and electricity situation has become. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. Give this video a big thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. For more exciting videos, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. I'm dropping new videos regularly. Explore the channel for more exciting videos and show some love. Thank you.